Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of the Contenders Coaches Show. I'm your host, Coach Devon Powell, back here again for another week. All right, my co-host, Mr. Midnight Rider, is running a little bit late, but he'll join us as soon as he can. And again, as always, I'm just happy to be back another week and to see all you people join us in. Man, we got a good show lined up today. We're going to recap. We're going to talk a little bit about my law high school, my jamboree that I held this weekend. And we got two guests coming on tonight. We got the lady broadcaster, Real Monet, coming on to talk about the situation with the coaching staff at Osborne Park. And then we got our guy, Kirsten Miller, Miller's Flow Vlog, coming on to discuss PG County football as we get ready to kick off this season, man. And, you know, it was a few years ago, there used to be a commercial that used to come on about the NFL on Sundays. And they start off by saying, feeling kind of Sunday. Well, we feeling kind of Friday night, man. We finally got those pads popping this weekend. We had, this was the first weekend that, you know, Maryland schools, non-privates, Maryland public schools could get out there and get the cracking out there. There was a lot of scrimmaging going on, a lot of jamborees going on. And we had a good one up at Law High School this weekend, man, where we hosted 5 other varsity programs. We had Meade High School, Bell from out DC, Fairmont Heights from PG County, Springbrook from up in Montgomery County, and Friendship Collegiate from out of DC on the varsity level. JV level, we had Springbrook, Meade, Fairmont Heights, and Friendship Collegiate. And man, it was a great day of football. A lot of good work that was done. And you know, it felt good to get out there and finally bump heads against some other competition. From my Spartan standpoint, you know, the 300, man, we did pretty well. You know, it's early in the season. We got some work to do. But it was nice to see my guys get out there and compete. Play 4 tough games, 4 hard games, man. And, you know, we saw a lot of things that we can build off of, and we just ready, man. I'm looking forward to this week. This week we got a preseason game coming up. We got Leonardtown coming into town for our JV and varsity games on Friday night at the 300. And we got our JV playing at 4 o'clock, and then the varsities will follow right at 6 o'clock. So looking forward to that, man, because it's that time of year, man. And, you know, across the country, man, we had a lot of high school games that was being played, you know, some of the big time programs. Shout out to St. Francis High School on their dominating performance down in Florida against Chaminade. I think I said that right. You know, St. Francis ranked number 5 in the country right now. You know, they got their eyes set on that national title. So, you know, shout out to them for putting on a great performance. Middle school Archbishop Spalding went up to Ohio. And they came up short in their travels, man. But Spalding is going to be one of the top teams in the MIAA A conference this year, and, you know, one of the better teams in the state of Maryland. So even though they took a loss this weekend, you know, we still expect big things from them. You know, it's a change for them without, you know, super quarterback Malik Washington, who's now in Maryland, but they're still loaded program. So they're still going to do what they got to do, man. And like I said, man, it's just exciting, man. It's an exciting time of year. Looking forward to my boys getting back on the field this Friday night, man, and then preparing for week 1. Before you know it, September 5th, Friday night lights. It's time to get rolling, man. The lights will be shining bright. And we're inviting, you know, everybody out there, all my listeners that ain't on the coaching staff, all my listeners out Friday night, September 5th, Law High School, 7 p.m. Come on through, man. The Sideline Junkies Podcast Network will be in the house on the sideline, man. And, you know, we're gonna get it popping out there, man. We're gonna start the season off right. And like I said before, man, I just can't wait. So before we We're waiting for our first guest to join. Go to a couple comments we got in here already. Comments going off already. Let's see. My guy, Coach Moot. Oh yeah, I'm getting you that green screen ASAP. Can't have that in the background. Moot, keep your green screen. You see what I got up there? HTTC. Hell to the Commanders. I ain't got time for no Eagles crap on my show. Coach Marcus said, nah, Moot, we good. That's right. Jaden chiming in, talking trash. Jaden, go sit down somewhere. Another one of our coaches say, nah, green screen is required. You know, these are the tech people on here. You know, I ain't no tech person, but that's all right. All right, guys, y'all got the comments started already. Jerome said he got one sitting around. All right. Coach Marcus was talking about St. Francis. They played the top, I think it was number 17 in the country. And like I said, they had a dominant performance, man. They wasn't even a close game, to be honest. And Coach Jerome said Friday Night Lights get time to get them pads popping. You're right about that, Jerome. We're looking forward to it, man. Because it's that time. Long summer workouts, and we're ready to get going. All right, so I'm still waiting for my first guest to join. As soon as she joins in here, we'll get started with her on the topic of the coaching situation down at Osborne Park. It's an unfortunate situation where, just to give you a little background, the coach was let go. He was alumni of Osborne Park, and then he was just abruptly let go, and don't know why. You know, and it's kind of along the lines of the situation that happened down with Teddy Bridgewater and down in Florida. But you know, like I said, when she's able to join, we'll dive into that a little bit and see what's going on, and we'll go from there. Just got reminded from a guy, Coach Jackson, Coach Marcus, man. You know, it's a good day here in Redskins world, Commanders world. You know, our guy Scary Terry finally signed his contract and can end his hold-in. I'm sure all my Cowboy fans, my Eagles fans, you know, they somewhere crying now because they just knew that Scary Terry wasn't going to sign, and that was just something for them to talk about. But now they hiding because they know we about to get this thing on, man. And it's you know, we put the league on notice last year. JD5 is the truth. And my man Scary Terry just signed and got a nice contract. I think it was 3 years extension, $96 million. Not sure the guaranteed money yet. That was the big thing. Marcus, if you're in the comments, you know, let me know if you know how much the guaranteed money was. But $32 million a year, along the lines of what everybody was, you know, reporting. He wanted, you know, over $30 million. So, you know, I'm glad that this was done. I didn't have no doubt that it was going to be done. And you know, we're gonna get it cracking now. It's on. Coach Moot said, I'm just saying, got to go through us first. We're not worried about Terry. Oh, y'all worried. You know, y'all Eagles fans is all up in the boards and everything, man. Y'all scared. Don't worry about that, Moot. And then we got a Giants fan chiming in talking about sophomore slump coming for JD5. I'm not even gonna waste my time commenting on the Giants. Y'all try to figure out an O-line situation first before you come at me, Jay. Oh man, so you know, I was talking about who's coming on the show tonight. Later on, like I said, we got my guy Carsten Miller from the MFE network coming on, man, and we're gonna talk about PG County, man. We're gonna talk about what's happening this year. We're gonna get his take on, you know, what the outlook looks for the county, man, and see where he thinks everybody's going. Where's it going to all end at in the end? Right, another comment in the comment. Do you think this hold-in affected the chemistry of Terry and JD5? Nope. Don't think it affected it at all, man. You know, this was a strange situation from the beginning. Terry was, you know, once he decided to report to camp, he was around all the guys, man. You see him out there talking to the owners. You see him talking to the GM. It was a crazy situation, man. And so they just had to work out the details. I don't think nothing is going to mess with any of that chemistry. I think they're going to pick up right where they left off at, man. So, nah, Marcus, I don't think that's going to be an issue. Well, guys, we got my first guest has joined now. I'm going to go ahead and add her to the stage. We got the lady broadcaster coming in, Miss Monet. How are you, Miss Lady?
I am wonderful. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm glad we finally got you on here.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It's football season. Did y'all know?
Right, exactly, and that's why we're excited in here. We talking trash about the Redskins and the Eagles and all that
Don't do
stuff.
that.
But,
Don't do that. Not about them skins.
oh no, that's right. They can't talk trash about us. They just better go
No.
somewhere. Not on this show. You see what my
Absolutely.
background say, right?
That's right.
Right. So how are you
Lifelong.
today?
I'm wonderful. Wonderful. Out here
Good,
ready
good.
for these guys to hit the field. And I know you are.
Yes, I've been ready, and like I said, I'm happy to have you on, the hardest working lady in high school sports in this area.
I try. I try.
You can catch her everywhere, guys. She's out in VA. She's got Maryland under
Yes.
lock, DC. She's
Yes.
all over the DMV. So if
Yes.
you're
I need
trying
a
to get
clone.
right, right.
So if
Look.
anybody knows how to do that, please let me know.
Oh well, look. They got some somewhere out here. I ain't
They
getting in
do.
that one, but they got them somewhere.
Right.
Well, I thank you for joining. I know you got a busy schedule because, like you said, you all over the place. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I wanted to bring you on. Like maybe 2-3 weeks ago, you had made
Right.
a post about the coaching situation at Osborne Park, and
Yes.
me and my co-host, Midnight Rider, who'll be joining us in a little bit.
Uh-huh.
He reached out to me. Was like, we got to try to get her on the show because this was right along the lines of the whole issue down in Florida with Teddy Bridgewater and his situation.
Right. Exactly.
And
Exactly.
so, we had a conversation about, how difficult it is for us coaches just to get out here and do our jobs. It's like we're sacrificing a lot of our time, and we got to
Right.
deal with some administrations that, may not be on the same page. And,
Mm-hmm.
so I just wanted to bring you on just to, touch base on you about the situation and get what you know about what happened down there.
Yeah, and I reached out to Coach Mike, who is the coach in question, who was dismissed abruptly 2 weeks
Hmm.
before the season is to start. Here in Virginia, and since I am on the Northern Virginia side, I'm kind of close to what's going on, and I
Hmm.
had the opportunity to actually meet Coach Mike a couple of seasons ago when he came on board. Really, really good guy. Met him first time at a media day. And he just talked about what he was doing with this program because, I mean, that area is not saturated
Hmm.
um, with a lot of kids that want to play ball. So
Hmm.
these coaches at the various schools, Osborne Park, Unity Reed, they are actually hitting the hallways and bringing kids in and saying, "Hey, come try football. Have you ever played before? Let's see if you can kick. Let's do. What can you do out on that football field for us?"
Hmm.
So for these coaches to be putting in that extra work and then for him to be just abruptly without even considering what he's done for that community. I mean, now you're talking about a 6-4 record coming from darn near no win some years ago, or
Hmm.
not being able to keep coaches on staff. But you have this man who has dedicated himself to his alma mater. You
Right,
know,
right.
Coach Mike went there. He was, I think, he graduated in 1983. Also played there. So he's deeply rooted in this school. And then, to come back and give what he was given it's a sad situation. And it's a sad situation in Virginia as a whole because the VHSL has just lost their mind. Everyone knows about the issue last year at Hayfield. And
Uh-huh.
since then, all the processes and policies and rules and politics that have been
Yeah.
put in place. It's just making it difficult. And principals are scared, ADs are scared. So they're making moves without even research. So, I heard about Coach Mike, and of course, like a lot of people, my heart sank. And he and I are actually supposed to talk, and I wish that it was before this, but I did
Mhm.
link up with him, and we were just trying to match up our schedules. But I did run into what was in question. One of the things in question was that Coach Mike agreed to allow a player to live with him. It
Mm.
never happened. People can throw anything at a wall.
Right.
It may
Right.
not stick, If that was the conversation, it was just that, a conversation. It never happened. The kid never moved in. His dad, I ran into his dad at a game and he laid it all out to me. He said, of course, his son was in school up in the Woodbridge area, and there was some issues at the school, and his son moved down to the Manassas area, and there was a residential issue going on, but he never moved in. There was some things put on social media which red flagged everything. And once that happens, you put it on social media and it gets to everyone.
Yeah. It's done.
Yeah, it's
Yep. Yep. It's done.
and it's blown up into situations where you can't even defend yourself. It's like these coaches, they have no defense of themselves once it hits social media and everybody starts picking it apart and putting their little twist and turn on things.
Hmm.
But it's just a travesty that this one conversation, or this one rumor, it was rumored that he was going to move in, took this man's season away from him.
Wow.
So, like I said, I wish I had the opportunity to talk with him before we spoke. But, there was his, one of the assistants on the team did take over briefly, and then they hired, I guess he's more of an interim head coach, another gentleman that came in from Fairfax County. And I did meet him at a media day, and he seems like a good guy, taking nothing away from him. And I think he's kind of taking a beating,
Of course.
because people,
Of course.
yeah, people are so in favor of Coach Mike, and I kind of feel bad, because he's walking into a situation that he really had nothing to do with. But it's just sad what the VHSL has done. They put the principals on edge. They put ADs on edge. Nobody wants to lose their job, so the first thing they think to do is, hey, let's just let them go, and then the problem's gone.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate. It really hit home with me when I heard the story, and because I'm coaching at my alma mater, and
Right?
it's like that's one when you're coaching, that's one of the things you strive for, to get
Absolutely.
back to where your roots were planted, and to go back to the school where he's from and to be treated like that. And I didn't know the situation at the time, but just to hear that he was just let go 2 weeks before the season started. I was like,
Right.
this is getting crazy. This is really
Yeah.
getting crazy.
Yeah, and there were all kind of other rumors. Another one out there was that he allowed some of his coaches to practice with guys that weren't on Osborne's team. He allowed them into some sort of practice, um,
Hmm.
and they said that was a no-no. Again, did it happen? So a lot of things are just surrounding what actually happened, and I'm going to keep you up to date when I
Yes,
get with
indeed.
Coach Mike, and we square this out, and really hear what he has to say. But a lot of rumors that ended up in him now on the sideline for the season.
Yeah, and it seems like, well, I don't care what I say because I don't care about nobody in Virginia in the VHSL. I don't care about
Right,
them, so
right.
I don't
You
care what
ain't
they
got
say. But
nothing
it
to
seems
lose.
like, yeah, I ain't got nothing to lose. It seems like you said it earlier about the politics. It just seems
Yeah,
crazy out there. You got
yeah,
some vindictive coaches out there. You got some
yeah.
jealous coaches.
Oh my
Going
gosh.
back to that Hayfield situation. That was the most craziest situation I've ever seen in high school sports last year, where you're
Yeah,
in the playoffs, you're
very
out the
crazy.
playoffs, you're back in. Like I've never
Yeah.
seen nothing like that. And then didn't one of the coaches that voted against him now he's in trouble or something? I was reading about. So
Yes. Yes.
so
You know,
you
these
out there.
guys these guys put their names on a form against Coach O. They
Right.
all signed it and said, "Hey, yeah, get him out of there. He did get the."
Right.
And now, same coach in the predicament that he's in with paying a player. And I heard those receipts are receipts
Oh
that
my
they
God.
pulled up. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
well, look, they was worried about him stealing his players before. Now he really gonna steal them. So,
Let me tell you. Let me tell you. And they're actually. I was just looking at a bunch of the coaches. They're on their way to Puerto Rico for their first game. The St. James and Coach
hmm
O and his guys. This Friday they'll play out in Puerto Rico. So he's on to bigger and better. I tell you, things happen for a reason. One door closes,
yep,
another one opens.
yep. And
Absolutely.
he looking back now at them, laughing at him, and I wish him nothing
Yeah.
but the best because that was just crazy.
Yeah.
I'm
Absolutely.
not going to get into if he did anything, what he didn't do. I don't care, but to drag
Right.
that man through like they did was,
Yeah.
it's a way to handle things.
It
But
really is. It really
and
is.
I'm gonna sit here and say we're in this world of social media, even though we use it, for our good and our benefit, but it's just gotten
Right.
out of hands with some of the stuff that they do, man. And so
It
all
is.
you
And
Virginia coaches, you're gonna get what you asked for. So I hope you
right.
take all the players.
Look, look, coach. Unfortunately, he might be coming from for some DC and Maryland players too. But
Yeah, well, look, Coach O, you my guy. So don't come over here in PG
don't
County. Yeah, stay stay where you at.
stay where he's at.
Yeah,
I
stay
think
where you
look,
at.
I think he's good. I think he's good right now.
Right.
So
Yeah, he's
yeah,
good. He's
yeah,
he's loaded over there. He don't need to come for no more.
absolutely. But look,
Mhm.
the interviewer in me has to ask you, how are you ready
Oh
for this
man,
season?
I'm ready. I've been ready. This it
Yeah,
felt like the summer was so long. Like our workout period was just long, and it
right.
was it was such a breath of fresh air to actually get into a scrimmage mode on Saturday, and
Yeah, yeah,
actually to hear the pads and hear the coaches out there fussing and yelling. It was just a good environment. So yeah, I'm happy. I'm
absolutely.
happy.
And I'm showing up. I'm
Oh yeah,
showing up.
you got to. You
So
welcome
be ready.
you welcome to the 300 anytime you want to.
All right, all right. I'll
Anytime
take
you
you
want to.
up on that for sure.
Mhm. Look, I got one question before I let you go, and
Yes.
and and I do want to bring you back on once you do actually sit down and talk to Coach Mike.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I can
Yeah.
hear what his take was, and but yeah,
Right.
one of my assistant coaches wanted to know before you go, who's a favorite team to interview at PG County Media Day, and why was it the 300?
Let me tell you, I had some really good interviews out there. I mean, they were all fun. All of you guys did like an amazing job. I can't say that anybody was. You all did such a great job. I was pleased because sometimes I get y'all coaches and y'all that I say go and y'all kind of freeze up on me a little bit, but y'all didn't.
Right, right.
Look, you've been in front of the camera, so you're okay with it.
Yeah, and look,
But
and I'm
yeah,
probably the shyest one of all the coaches out there. I'm probably the shyest one.
no, no, no. You want me to tell you who was the shyest?
Who's that?
It had to be Coach Troy, Suitland,
Yeah,
Jamal.
yeah. Well, you know what? Yeah,
He could be a
I,
little
I had
shy.
I had him on the show a couple of weeks ago, and he was fine.
He
And
was fine.
maybe.
He's very talkative. We actually he's involved in a flag football league, and I've been around that league for probably 20 years, and we always chit chatting. But I tell you, he got in that interview, he got a little quiet on me.
Yeah,
He got a little shy.
you made him nervous. It's all your fault. You made him nervous. Made
But
him
yeah, you
nervous.
guys did a great job, and every year I love coming back. So, and we're gonna make it even bigger and better next year. I'm gonna bring out my backdrops and do a little
Oh
photography
yeah.
as well with the guys. So yeah, I'm already thinking ahead.
All right, good, good. Well, of course we glad you came out, and we glad to have you back next year. And like I said, you're always welcome at the 300. I got a nice spot for you on the sideline, so
And look,
come
I'll
on
be
through.
there. I'll be there.
Gotcha.
Remind me of your first game.
We September 5th, we got Parkdale at home.
Y'all got Parkdale at home. Gotcha.
Yes,
Gotcha.
September
Gotcha.
5th.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right.
All
Well,
right.
before
Well,
you
yes,
go,
I appreciate you.
let everybody know where they can find you at.
All right. You know, you can find me everywhere on each social media platform: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm over there on TikTok. I'm trying to be a little fun on TikTok. So, catch me over there, but don't judge me. Catch me on TikTok, but don't judge me on TikTok.
Gotcha.
And I'm coming out with getting things together for my podcast because I got it. I know you got this running, but I need to talk about y'all. Y'all need to be talked about. So that's
Hey,
coming.
come on.
I'm gonna hit DC, Maryland, and Virginia. So
All
that
right.
is coming.
And when you get that started, when you want me on, just let me know. I'm there.
You know it. You
All
know it.
right.
I appreciate this though.
All right. Well, I thank you. And like I said, once you get some more information, we'll bring you back on. And
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, thank you. You have a good one. Now, how do
You
I
too.
how do I the interviewing me again? How do I continue listening tonight?
Well, you just if you look on Facebook, I sent you the link.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, I actually tagged you in the post of the show. So just go on there,
Gotcha.
and
Yes.
you can find us on YouTube as well as Sideline Junkies Network, that channel,
Gotcha.
and all the
Got it.
shows are there.
All right. I definitely appreciate you and have a good rest of the show.
All right, thank you, Miss Monet. And I'll talk to
All
you
right. Talk to you
soon.
soon. All right. Bye bye.
All right, bye bye. All right, and that was the lady broadcaster, Miss Monet. Always wonderful to talk to, always full of energy, and she has her nose to the ground. She gonna find out the information for you. Anything going on in the DMV sports wise, she is there. All right, so I ain't gonna waste no time. We're gonna go in to our next interview. I got my guy. This is my guy here. Got my guy from the MFV All Sports Network. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's happening?
Man, nothing much, man. Just another Monday night.
I hear that.
Yeah. I'm glad you appreciate you joining us again. We had you on before, and I told you, man, once the season start, man, I'm trying to get you on here as much as possible because you the man of the streets, man. You the man with your head to the ground, and you got
Yeah,
all the access everywhere, man.
yeah. I just came. I got a video I'm trying to work on. Just came from Spalding girls varsity soccer scrimmage. So I
See,
got to
see, that's
get
what I'm
that.
talking about, man. Look. You doing soccer, you got volleyball going on. Like I said before, we was on the last time, you even traveled all the way up to Fort Hill. I don't know who trying to make that ride if they ain't got you.
Yeah, it's actually nice up there. Um, I like going up there, but I know we're here to talk about PG County.
Yes,
Yeah, I've been.
indeed, man. We didn't talk about PG County, man, and like I was saying earlier, man, this was the first weekend that we could actually get out there against some competition.
Mm,
Um, and I know everybody out there, and I hope y'all listening in. There's some coaches out there that I know was trying to get my game film from some other coaches. So I know you out there trying to find out what we got going on in the 300. You ain't got to sneak around. You come straight to me. Come
yeah.
straight to me. All right, man. So what's your take, man? You're man of the
Um,
town. You know what's going on out here, man. How you feeling about PG County football this season?
um, I'm actually looking forward to it because I think well we know the two powerhouses that everybody is going to be going after is Flowers and Wise.
Yeah, yeah.
You know that's what
Mm-hmm.
everybody's going to be trying to beat. Um, but I know you probably hiding some stuff. I ain't gonna. I know you probably hiding some things there. I'm also
Hey,
looking
man,
at
I'm trying to get my kids to learn how to spell football. My kids don't know how to spell it yet. We trying to figure it out.
um, uh, I think Douglas is going definitely Frederick Douglass is someone we need to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Last year with losing only the Dunbar in overtime,
Mm-hmm.
I think they're gonna come back and make some noise because we know Douglas was the Wise of before Wise was even around. Everybody was,
Yeah, you right about that. You're right
yeah.
about that. Mm-hmm.
And I know they had bounced around the different classes. They had clashed with Fort Hill and all that. Bowie, I'm thinking they're gonna make a little bit of noise. Definitely Suitland.
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching them. They made kind of a deep run last year. And I heard Largo. Largo was gonna make some noise this year too. I was told Surrattsville. They told me
You
they
said
gonna
they
do
told it.
it. They said to me that they gonna do something this year. So we'll see how that
Mm-hmm.
goes. But definitely, I'm looking forward to it. I'm really keen in on PG County, kind of similar to Anne Arundel County. You know, they do well during the regular season,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's the playoffs,
Right.
and
Right.
that's where the struggles come in. And
Mm-hmm.
I'll just use Wise because they made it to the state final. Um, it just seemed like when they got there, I mean, it was a defensive battle. I mean that they didn't, QO didn't kill them.
Mm-hmm.
That score is really not. It was really a close game.
Yeah, it was a close
Uh,
game. Yep.
but I think Wise was, just the defensive battle kind of like it's like it gassed them out in the
Mm-hmm.
second half. Because I mean there was no score in the first quarter, and then I think they just got gassed out. I know that they had lost one of the top players, but even still, it seemed like from that point, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. Um, they they tried something different. Now I noticed they were doing this like trips kind of thing going on. I was like, I ain't never seen that before, and that was different. So as
Yeah,
maybe
it looked like they was
they
trying to
get to the
spread them out a little bit
playoffs,
more.
yeah, and just and I mean you have to try new things. You have to try
Mm-hmm.
different things because kind of the opponent. They knew who they were dealing with, and I think that's what it is. PG County, I think if they stick to what they know that gets them there, they gonna make some noise because PG County definitely has some ballers, and it's
Mm-hmm.
hidden, and a lot of times it goes overlooked. Um, but they definitely have some ballers. I know you got some on there. Like I said, I ain't gonna.
I told you we still trying to figure out how to spell football right now. So don't worry about us. We just over here on the northern part of the county, just
Yeah,
just doing our own thing right now. So,
yeah,
but
yeah. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, yeah, you made a good point about when the county gets into the playoffs. And I always agree to this. PG County, especially 4A, is one of the toughest conferences in the state of Maryland, and
Mm-hmm.
it is top heavy,
Yeah,
and then you got a bunch of schools that's sitting in the middle of the pack, but
yeah.
it's a battle every
Mm-hmm.
week,
Yeah,
and outside of Wise and Flowers, the other teams are beating each other up, and so by the
yeah,
time we get to the playoffs, it's a little different
yeah.
for us, and but I think this year, and this is my opinion, um, and I'm not being biased right now. I think this year across the board is one of the strongest seasons that I see coming up for PG County football.
Mm-hmm.
You spoke about Suitland
Yeah.
and Largo. Largo's in the 1A, Suitland's in the 4A. But then you got teams like Potomac,
And some,
who's going to
yeah.
be tough. And Potomac, they're playing a 4A schedule this year. They're still
Mm-hmm.
3A, but they're playing a 4A schedule this year due to High Point not having a varsity team this year.
Yeah.
But I think that Potomac squad is suited for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they're going to be decent. Bowie, that's always a battle. They took a drop the last two seasons, but I think they're going to be strong this year. Eleanor Roosevelt. They got a talented crew this season, man. So I think, in my opinion, is that PG, this is going to be one of the more balanced seasons that we've seen in a while from PG County.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. And I think that. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah, I just think that, I think they got some scores to settle because, and I'm just using Douglas as an example. They saw, we could have been there if we had done this.
Uh-huh.
And they were close, so it's like, no, we ain't gonna make that mistake again. And I can see it. Like they're gonna definitely, I believe, come out strong. Now, week one always can tell a different story.
Right.
Some people, but usually you'll see it by the time playoffs start, and that's, I'm hoping that, they don't do one and done, just or they, make those deep runs, just like Suitland. I think they lost to Old Mill. Was it Old Mill last year?
I can't remember who they lost. Yeah, I can't remember who they lost to last year.
Yeah, I think it was Old Mill. I think. Yeah. So, definitely looking forward to seeing how they do. And I mean, I think if they, like I said, they stick to that bread and butter. Wise, they can throw the ball, but they can also run the ball. And the defense, just quick to the ball defense. Get back to that bread and butter PG County ball. So I think a lot of people sleep on PG County. They think, oh yeah, they they the money county. No. Not that. That's not the PG County. I knew. I think it's, they need to get back to that and definitely make noise for what's coming up.
Yeah, I mean, you speaking about Wise, and their first game, they go on the road down to Kings Fort to play them. Week 2, then we play them. They play us week 2. Then they got Flowers, Bowie, Duval, Rose, Potomac, Suitland, and end with Northwestern. So they it's a few games they're gonna have to play. This won't be like normal years where Wise has a great team, but it's gonna be some competition out there for them this year.
Absolutely.
And I think, to be honest, I think this schedule this year is actually gonna get them a little bit more prepared for playoff run than they had the last 2 seasons. And my guy Coach Rapp, man, he gonna have them ready. You gonna have them ready, and that week 3 game between them and Flowers early in the season, man, that's gonna be a game, because I know Coach Powell has that Flowers mob over there, and they're a year older now. They were very young last year. They went through some growing pains, but they think they have a shot this year, and they got a tough first 3 games too. They open the season up at Eastern, and then they got to go. Then they got Roosevelt coming to them, and then they got Wise week 3. So that's 3 tough games that they're gonna get battle tested early.
Yeah,
and we're really gonna see what Flowers is made of. And then to finish the season, they got Oxon Hill, Potomac, and Suitland. So 3 dog fights. So Flowers is gonna get tested this season as well.
Yeah. And and Potomac too. Potomac, I had them written down here on my paper. They got some dogs down at Potomac.
They got some.
I was like,
they got some dogs. They got a nice squad there. Coach Crump, who we had on the show not too long ago.
Yeah.
They got a good team, man. The JV went undefeated last year.
Yeah.
And a lot of those players moved up, but like I said earlier, they're playing a all 4A schedule outside of Oxon Hill, which is their rival there. But they opened up. They got Duval, Parkdale, then Bowie. Then they go to Oxon Hill. They come to us at Law. They got Northwestern. Then they finish the season with Wise, Flowers, and Bladensburg. So,
Okay.
yep, they
Now,
go ahead.
no, go ahead. Go ahead. Tim.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that we're gonna see what they're made of
Okay.
with this 4A schedule.
Hmm. I don't know too much about Gwynn Park. I haven't really gotten them. Gwynn Park, Friendly. Um, what's the other school? High Point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
High Point is not gonna have a varsity program this year.
Okay, so they're not okay.
Yeah, they're not gonna have a varsity program because they didn't field one last year. So they
Okay.
I think they got to sit 2 years. I think that's the
Oh,
NPS rule. They got to sit 2 years because they waited till the season was starting to say they wasn't gonna have a team. So
okay.
but speaking of Gwynn Park, you look at their schedule. They got a new coach down there,
Mm-hmm.
first year coach, and they open up at Bowie. Then they got Newtown coming in. Then they got Largo. So they got 3 games out to start that's going to be tough
Yeah,
for them. Then they go through a stretch with Suratsville, Central, Crossland, and Friendly. And then they finish the year at Douglas. So
okay.
yep, they're going to get tested early, and then they really going to find out what they made of in that last game against Douglas
Mm.
during the season. Let me get a couple comments in here because they was filling up. All right. So Coach Marcus, he said, you know what? I got a question. How did he come up with his signature head nod thing?
Oh, you talking about the
Yeah.
after that's just something I just did after the play. I'm trying to just spice up the videos. That's really all it is.
Gotcha. Let's see. Coach Moot want to see how Potomac going to do on that 4A schedule. They're going to make some games interesting. Yep, we were just
Yeah,
talking
definitely.
about that.
Definitely.
Let's see. Coach Jaden said, "Well, PG4A take each other in 4A South." I think he's saying, they play each other in the 4A South, so that's going to be a battle to see
Yeah.
who comes out of there.
Mm.
Last couple of years has always been Wise and Flowers, coming out of there, but we'll see how that goes. Coach Jerome says, well, that game went downhill the moment their running back got hurt. He's talking about the Wise and QO game. And yeah,
Yeah.
that hurt when we had Coach Rapp on one of the earlier shows. He said that he actually felt the impact of that loss more on the defensive side than the offensive side. He said he felt like
Mm.
defensively it hurt him more, even though
Yeah.
he was their all county back. So
Mm.
Jaden 4A is the Big Ten. So you got PG4 is the Big Ten. And then Coach Moose said PG4A is like the NFC East. Yeah, see, I agree with that more. I think we like the NFC East. Who else we got? Suitland lost the Old Mill playoffs last year. Okay.
Yeah, that was great. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Then Coach Marcus said, okay, let me ask my second question. Compare
Oh,
MoCo and PG
oh,
football.
how did I know that was coming? Well, they're similar in the sense you have your big dogs. You got your Blake and QO. Those are
Mm-hmm.
like your big dogs. I know Damascus sometimes. Well, they're pretty good. They make some noise, but Moco County, yeah, it tends to be the strong teams, and then you got your Sherwoods and your other teams that are. It's very similar to BG. They battling it out.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it is. But I think PG County is just it's bigger. It's a
Mm-hmm.
bigger arena. I think it's just bigger than Moco. Moko, yeah, like I said, I think this is the two that stand out to me is Blake and Quince Orchard.
Mm-hmm.
And the others kind of fall in and battle out in between. But PG is so big, a lot of times it gets overlooked.
Yeah.
And that I think is the major. They're not taking nothing away from Moko because they're definitely contenders. I'm just when you look at it, you compare them together. That's kind of what how I see it. Like, and I've just been learning day by through and through. Man, it's just like this PG County is big.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of forgot that like how big PG County was.
Mm-hmm.
You see, I got back in the day, well, I used to live in Laurel actually. Uh, so it was kind of different. I only saw it in certain parts, like, oh, okay, yeah, it's Suitland. This I forgot. No, PG County is huge. So
Yeah, it is.
there is a lot of talent, a lot of dogs, and you know they got a lot of it now. One thing is different too, like the when it comes to the private schools too, they tend to have a big one. You know who that is, DeMatha.
Right.
And they they got a lot of good talent there. Um, so yeah. Oh, and I know Bishop McNamara. I won't forget them. Um, what's the other school? There's another private school. Can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, it's let's see, you're talking PG County, so yeah, you got DeMatha, you got McNamara, you got shoot, I think that's it as far as the WCAC
Yeah.
football team.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, yeah, because you got Good Counsel in Mo County.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Georgetown Prep is not in the WCAC, but you got them in Mo County. Um, Riverdale Baptist. Yep.
Yeah,
Thanks,
that's
Coach
it.
Jerome.
There you
Yeah,
go.
Riverdale.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's it. There you go. Yeah.
Yep. Forgot all about 'em.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be mad, Riverdale. I forgot about y'all. But
Yeah.
you said something earlier where you said Moco Ball is kind of like PG County is where you got QO, Blake, which just came on the last couple of years. You got Northwest
Mm-hmm. Oh
in
yeah, I
that
forgot.
top tier.
Forgive me for that.
And I guess you can put Paint Branch in that top tier as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Yes.
And then you got schools like Blair and your Sherwoods and
Mm-hmm.
those type of schools. And you got your middle of the pack, and then you got your schools down at the bottom that are just trying to find their way. So yeah, it's similar that way. But
Yeah.
I'm always gonna be biased. I think PG County ball is way better than Moco ball. So
Well, hey.
any of you Moco guys out there, my guy Coach Vic over at Blake, I love you, but I ain't thinking about Moco ball. Get all of y'all.
Something
Hey,
I thought
just
I heard you
just keeping it
alluded
real.
to, and I really do think that's important too. Is like you said, when it comes to the youth organizations too, and how PG handles that. It's like you guys look for not you're not looking for the like, oh, I need the guy getting all the touchdown, all the top dude dog, da 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 da. You know, I just want to looking for someone that wants to play ball, someone that wants to be developed, someone that wants to be coached. I think that's what need to get back to in the DMV as a whole. Is getting back
Yeah,
to
it's
that. I
one
think
thing.
like
It, sorry,
it's
my
too
bad. I
many.
was gonna say.
Yeah, it's too many.
I was gonna
Everybody
say.
want to be a star. I won 5 championships with this youth
Mhm.
program, and I'm like, doggone, And then they come to high school, and they don't know what to do. Instead of getting a guy that says, "Hey, I'm learning this, and I'm developed here." Like if you talk about Fort Hill, and Huntingtown. those places, their youth programs, they
Mm-hmm.
already know with the high schools. That's what they taught from day one. Boom, 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 boom. High school. They already
Yep.
know because they've been
Yep.
developed. Same thing with Fort Hill. They program that
Yep.
youth program out there. All of them feed Fort Hill. You know, them run packages. Boom, boom, boom. They getting that like as
Yep. Yep.
babies.
Yep.
So it's
That's exactly what I was gonna say, because you go up to Oakdale,
mm-hmm.
what's the other school up there near Oakdale?
Or
Middletown. Like,
Middletown.
yep, Middletown, like you said, Fort Hill, all those youth programs, they are running the same package that the kids are going to run on the JV, and the JV runs on varsity. And that's one of those things that in the DC PG area has gotten out of hand, because these youth programs is all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no loyalty no more. There's no, like, I ain't gonna say loyalty. Yeah, there's no loyalty, and there's
Mm-hmm.
no sense of community. When I grew up, you played at the Law Boys and Girls Club. You left the Law Boys and Girls Club, you went to Law High
Yeah.
School. And that's something that we're in my area in law, we're trying to get back to. I got two of my coaches on my staff are Law Wildcats. They run the football program there. And so
Mm-hmm.
we're trying to build that relationship and keep those kids feeding into our school, because you're law kid. Stop going to the Pilates, the Roosevelts, all these other programs. Law sometimes gets a bad rap about football, but if all our kids stayed home and didn't go to these other schools,
Mm-hmm.
we're one of the best teams in the county. And so that's something that we're working on. And I agree with you there. It's a different thing when you got a youth program that you're feeding into your program.
Yeah.
And it's going, and I know in law we're getting back to that. Some of the other areas is going to take a little bit longer for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me see. Got some couple more comments. Let's see. See, I know Coach Vic was paying attention. See, I knew he was on there. See, Vic, I was testing you to make sure that you was listening in. All right. That's why I said that comment. Still my guy, but Gitmo County. But you're still my guy, though. We're gonna get you back home. Don't worry about it. Ben, which is Midnight Rod, he said he's sorry he missed you tonight. But he see the regulars in the room tonight. Midnight Rod on like 15 shows.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
I don't know when the guy I don't know when he eats dinner or anything, man, because he's on so many daggone shows. I think he lives by that red cup that he always got in his hand. Whatever he got in his cup, I think that's what fuels him, because he's on so many daggone shows. Coach Mook said, "You football in the county a little wild." Yep. Yeah, it is. It's all over the place. And was that when Law had 5 youth teams in 2010s? Yeah, that's when it got a little out of hand. When all these teams, you had the Law Steelers, you had Unity, you had the Hurricanes, you had the Wildcats, then you had the Stallions. It was like, yeah, so many. And that's when youth football changed from being, you had to live in your area to play with a team, to everybody just going out and grabbing kids from anywhere. So that's what kind of hurt. And then Coach Marcus said, "Midnight you fired because you missed the show tonight, Midnight Rider." But that's my guy there. That's my guy there. So we got 6 minutes left, and I got a hard stop tonight. Boss has told me we got another show come on tonight, so I can't go overtime.
No
So,
problem.
give me and if outside of the 300, you're always welcome at the 300, and we always happy to have you there, man. But give me a PG County school that you interested in visiting this year, excited to see play this season. And you can say the 300. You can say Law. You ain't got to give nobody else no love.
That's without question. As always. So as always, I'm not going to use that answer.
Gotcha.
I want to see Suitland.
Mm-hmm.
Suitland. I want to see Largo. And definitely Flowers. Wise, let me see. Now, I love Wise, no doubt. I would always go down there and see Wise. Wise's energy is great, but I just like I'm thinking of those that I haven't like touched. Because I haven't seen Suitland. I would like to see Suitland. I like to see Bowie, Flowers, and I said Largo. Definitely, and Douglas. That was it.
Gotcha.
Douglas. Definitely. I mean, I want to see all of them actually. You know, because I just want to see what even more of what they got. So there is a youth program out in Clinton that I've checked out. They're out down there, you know, and like I said, you know, just seeing how they do things, that was eye-opening. Just, you know, to say the least, because I had to compliment them. I'm like, I like what y'all are doing here. Like I've never been to a football game where I heard a ref say something and the coach say, my bad.
I was about to say, yeah, you ain't
I
gonna
was
hear that
like,
on high school
what
level.
did he just say?
Yeah.
And he just said, my bad, you was right.
Yeah.
And walked out. I was like, oh, okay. This is a little
Yeah,
different.
you ain't gonna see that on the high school level. Look, you damn sure ain't gonna see it at one of my games, because I'll tell you right now, I could be dead wrong, and I'm still gonna sit there and argue with that ref. Like, come on. So, yeah, referee gonna tell me, coach, you can't be at the numbers when you're out here on the field. And I tell him, man, look, I just forgot to put my uniform on. Just don't pay no attention to me. But hey, man, you know you're my guy, man, and I'm glad. I'm thank you for taking the time out with me today, man, and giving me your take on PG County. And you know, when they go live on September 5th, man, you know, we're gonna be following you to see where you at, and you know, and we always welcome at 300. You know that. This year, I'm just gonna read our schedule off to the viewers. You know, we open up September 5th with Parkdale coming to us. Then we travel down to Wise on the 12th. The 19th, we're at Northwestern, see Coach Pierre and his mob over there at Northwestern High School. Then September 26th, we got Suitland coming into town to the 300 under the lights. And that's followed up by on October 3rd with Potomac coming up to the 300 too. So that's two tough back-to-back games for us at the 300. 300 going to be on fire then. It's going to be on fire those two nights. Then we travel to Duval on October 11th. October 18th, we're at Bladensburg. And then we finish the season off homecoming versus Eleanor Roosevelt on October 24th. And October 31st, senior night, we got Bowie on Halloween night. You know, they coming to the 300. And that's going to be a big one. That's going to be a battle there. That's going to be a battle. So, hey, man, you know, anytime you're welcome, all you got to do is let me know. Okay. And we're going to get you in there, man. And like, again, I appreciate you. And I'm going to have you on after the season start, man, so we can recap some of these games and some of your travels out there.
All right.
So before I let you go, man, tell everybody where they can find you at.
You can find me at MFV All Sports Network on Instagram, YouTube. I am on TikTok and Facebook, but not many people on Facebook. Yeah, I'm out there.
All right, man. And I appreciate you, man. And I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Catch you later. All right, guys. Appreciate y'all checking in, man. We had looking at my screen up here, man. We had a lot of viewers in here tonight, man. And it's a great show. Two great guests on, man. I appreciate Miss Monet for coming on earlier, man. And you know, my guy Carson, man, you know, he's always welcome on the show and at the 300, man. And, you know, just to close out real quick, my guy O from down there in that Annapolis area said, good stuff, D. I appreciate you for checking us out, O. And then the boss man, he said, great show, coach. And you know, the boss in here now, so I gotta end my show so I don't get fined. or in trouble. But as my guy, John Thompson say, we don't do no overtime around here. I appreciate y'all, man. Just heads up, there will not be a show next week on Labor Day. The Pretenders and Contenders podcast will take a break next week, but we'll be back after that, covering all your high school sports after that. All right, everybody, have a good night.